Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
We're here. Ta-da! We're all here. How about you? Who's ready for Transformational Tip Tuesday? It's time. It is time. Bring it on down. Bring it on down. Pinkies up. There's Amber, Yvonne. Here's my girls all walking into the house. I love seeing y'all come in. Thanks so much for joining me. Catherine, great to see you. Everyone, come on in. Let's get busy. Anyone here have a distraction problem? Oh, hi, Sarah. Hi, Jackie. Hey, listen. If anybody here is distracted, if you've got a pinkies up on that distraction thing, then you're in good company. You know, you're talking to the queen of distraction right here. Hi, Andrea from Romania. Margarita's in the house. Good afternoon to you. Who else is here? Love seeing you guys all walk in. And by the way, we've been getting some nice feedback about last night's Be Strong, Stay Strong webinar. If you didn't see it, it's not too late. You can go to savingdinner.com/strong and go get it. It's a free guide, and we're going to be doing a transformational. That's our thing of the week, right? Hi, Rensky. Sarah says, distract squirrel. Yeah, we're going to be talking about squirrels here in just a moment. But this whole thing, you know, how this whole thing comes together and understanding how important our strength is to us as women. Because, you know, this is what we do every single day right here. This is our Daily Dish show. We are bringing vibrancy back into your life, heart, mind, body, and soul. You cannot do it with just one facet of your life. When we understand that, we become congruent with everything, don't we? There's great synchronicity that can happen. It cannot happen when we think it's only one thing. It is not, your life is not a pair of jeans. Your life is not the color of your lipstick. Your life is not the size that those jeans have. Your life is everything. And all these things are compounded and they work together for good, by the way. Because that's how we get our vibrancy back. That's what I want. I don't know about y'all, but hey, here we all are doing the same thing. You know, lifting our lives up as that rising tide lifts all the boats. We're going with it, aren't we? Pinkies up on that one. That's what I have to say about that. We have a great quote of the week that I really like. And by the way, we are able to flip the thing. There are many things that seem impossible only so long as one does not attempt them. That's a mic drop right there. Did you see it? You know, we gotta attempt things. Everything's impossible because if we're just gonna sit on the sidelines. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to play full out in my life. I'm ready for all the things. And I know that's you. That's why you're here. And we do this together. You know, it's not just one thing. It's all the things. All the things. That's why we talked about strength yesterday. You can get that again, savingdinner.com/strong, and watch it. In it, you'll get the guide, and the guide is free. You download all of it. You'll get a food diary, and we have a bunch of other things. All of it in there. And Jenny just put together this fabulous checklist, so you can mark it off, and you can do it with us. We're going to be doing it starting next Monday. You know, this is the thing. We're going to stay connected. We might sprint once a month, but through the rest of the month, we're going to stay connected. This is how we stay on task. This is how we get things done that we want to get done. And this is how we don't feel so isolated and alone. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of feeling just a little bit like, are we ever going to get over all the stuff that's going on right now in this world today? Are we? It's just insanity. And for the most part, I'm checking out of all the negativity and I'm checking into the positivity that is here in this group. I'm checking into the love that we have for each other. I'm checking into that. That's the things that I want. Because what you focus on expands. What you dwell upon, that is the thing that becomes your destiny. Yeah? You know, so if we're sitting there, on Facebook, and battling it out with these political battles and having all this stuff, that's your destiny, being a troll. You know, really, what's that going to do for your life? Nothing. Zero. I'm going to tell you right now, everybody is really set in what they believe and think and what have you. You're not going to be the needle mover. But you know what? You can be the needle mover in your own life. And that's where I want to go. I have things to do in this life. You have things to do. You're put here by divine purpose, by God himself. So if that's the case, we've got some work to do, don't we? Especially if you're caught up in shiny object syndrome, or you see a squirrel and that's suddenly there goes your attention. You know, we can circle the wagons. We can fix that. We can get into the weeds without being choked by the weeds. That's the whole thing. It's a reclamation of your life is really what it is. That's what we're talking about. The supplement of the week this week is omega-3X. If you buy 3 of these, we'll put the 4th one in your cart for free. And not only that, if you put ships free in the promo window, you will also get the shipping free as long as you live here in the United States. That's a screaming deal. And not only that, but you will have a year's supply of Omega-3X. And I'm going to tell you right now, we all are deficient. We get plenty of omega-6s and 9s and stuff. We get plenty of that. But omega-3 fatty acids, you got to be deliberate on that. And this is one of the biggest needle movers as far as helping your brain function, your hormones function, and that means your weight loss hormones as well. This needs to be put into the mix. Absolutely, emphatically needs to be put into the mix. So make sure that you get yours right now. This is the last day to be able to take advantage of this screaming deal. And when you're doing that, and maybe you're going to get the skincare too, we've got the skincare, you will get one of these. It's the Pinkies Up Cup. This is you hear us yelling out, Pinkies Up, all the time. What does that mean? It means that we're in solidarity. It's like a pinky swear. It means that we are together on this. And I cannot stress to you enough how important this community has become to me and to everybody else that's in it and participating broadly in it, especially in our smaller group. It's important. We need this. This is how we're built, by the way. This is in our DNA. And by the way, wait till you see tomorrow's supplement of the week. You're going to go, what? How did I not know about this? Well, you didn't, because it's a brand new supplement. So wait till you see tomorrow. You're going to love it. Anyway, don't forget about Q&A too. Did I tell you about Q&A? Last week we had 10 questions, and they were really good, well thought out questions. You know, if you have a question, I'm here to support you. If you have a nutrition question, I'm here to support you. A cooking question, whatever. I've even done my hair before because somebody asked me, how do you do your hair, right? Isn't this, it's still a little damp, you know. I had to get the sweat off this morning. But you know what? Here's the thing. You just have to send your question in. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Send it in to support@savingdinner.com, and in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday, I will answer it. Okay? That's all you have to do. Super simple. Super simple. So what the format of this is, if you're wondering, what is this Daily Dish show? Why aren't you talking about cooking? Blah, 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 blah. Well, you know, cooking is at the core, right? Because that's our diet that supports our life, that fuels us. That's at the core, but there's the rest of us that we take care of. That's why this Daily Dish show exists in the first place. What we think about expands, but what we focus on becomes our destiny. We know this. We know this. We've seen this. We've got the evidence to support that, don't we? And that's where we're going right now with reclaiming our lives. We have to reclaim our lives, but in order to do that, we have to also extract the distract. Because I will tell you, I am the queen of distraction. Queen. Ask anybody who works for me. They're right here. They're going to tell you, oh yeah, we know about that. You know, it's part of my build. Do I have ADD? Do I have ADHD? Probably we all do at some point. But we're going to talk about this, and we're going to get to the place of owning our lives again. Owning them. Because when we own them, we own it, distractions and all, and then we adjust our sails, so to speak, so that we can start dealing with them. They're always going to be there, just FYI, there's always going to be some distraction. And I was thinking about that this week when I ordered probably about 15 books. I have a serious book problem. And yes, they help me, and yes, they're great, and yes, whatever. But, if you can see right here over my shoulder, there they are, right there, sitting there all stacked up, because they're distracting me. So I move them. I'm going to need them, but I move them so that I could not be distracted. That's where we're going today. That's what we're going to be talking about today, because it's everything. And by the way, I will also mention that if you want Thanksgiving menus, we have them for you. I don't care how you eat. We've got them for you, 100%. We have keto, paleo, and a classic family, and it's right there at savingdinner.com/thanks. You can get it, you can print it out, menus, recipes, shopping lists, all kinds of deliciousness, and they work fabulously, okay? I mean, this is tried and true stuff, by the way. You're gonna love it. I think that's everything. Didn't I tell you about everything? I sure did. I think I sure did. But now we're going to get into the subject of today, which today is Transformational Tip Tuesday. And these are things that we can use in our lives to move the needle into the direction that we want to. I have to say one thing before we even get into the whole subject. We are not victims of our own time. We may have less free time than others. We may have less, whatever. We might have every minute almost scheduled. You might be taking care of an elderly parent who suddenly has an issue that you have to drop everything and take care of. Happens. Same with children and babies and what have you. Happens. Same with taking care of fill in the blank. Happens. But you know what? We have the ability to make an assessment and to take a look at our time and to reclaim time that we have given up for things that are not worthy of our time. And distractions are one of the ways that we somewhat soothe ourselves and play into that whole idea of making sure that we're taking care of, we're calming ourselves. And at the end though, it doesn't calm, it further inflames. That's what I want to talk about today, because I am the queen of all of this. So we're going to dig in. So it's when we are dealing on this level of distraction, we don't get traction, right? Distraction becomes the norm, not the traction. And that helps to completely disrupt and disrail everything that we want. Everything that we want. We get caught up. We get taken over. We lose our footing. And then we're off balance. And we're wondering what's next and wondering what the next thing to do is and all of that. And it just becomes insanity. But here's the fix on that. Is understanding that that's part of the human equation only as much as we let it run away from us. We can bring it back on in, and that's why we're talking about extracting the distraction, because we have to. We have to be cognizant of it. We have to be aware that this is going to happen. We have to know what those things are, okay? It's really interesting, and the Bible, the dictionary says that distraction is extreme agitation of the mind or emotions. Oh my gosh, how many times have you felt that? I know I have. Extraordinary. It's extraordinary. You feel that. You feel that push, you feel the pull, and you feel all the different things all lined up waiting to say, hey, how about me? There's laundry to do, there's a meal to cook, there's a shopping list to make, and then you've got your work, and then you've got your family, and you've got all the things that need attention. How do we do this? How do we not get distracted and go off onto the deep end? Or worse, just say, blow it all up and just go into, social media endlessly scrolling, or a game or something that's talk about distracted. We put it off, we push it away, and we lose that traction. Traction is built on momentum. And momentum is built on the constant doing. It's a consistent thing. You get consistent results when you do consistent things. Well, you also, on the reverse, in the negative, you get the consistent thing happening that you don't want when you're distracted and when you've just decided to shut it down and just go, in this direction of just embracing the distraction and just trying to numb out on whatever it is that you're doing. So if you have this all over the place racing mind thing, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I need to go see the doctor, I need medication. Well, you might have seriously ADD or ADHD. There's a lot of things that we can do first before you end up with yet another medication. We don't need that. What we need to do is go to the root cause, don't we? If you ever feel like you're not able to get what it is that you want, and the doctor's office isn't the first place. A self-assessment is the first place. A self-assessment and checking out what it is that you're doing, checking in with yourself, checking in with your diet, checking in with your supplements. Are you getting the right things that you need into your diet? Do you have brain fog not because of a pharmaceutical deficiency, but maybe a supplement deficiency, some kind of a vitamin imbalance? Maybe you're not eating the right foods. Maybe you're eating inflammatory foods. We've got to check in with that. We can't immediately default to medication. We need to immediately default to an analysis. Without an analysis, we have paralysis, and we are at somebody else's whim. We're at somebody else's agenda. We don't claim our own lives. We're giving it away. That's the thing that really got me about this whole thing when I was talking about this, that your life is not your own if your focus is lacking. You lose your life to everybody else's agendas. And I want to bring you back to center, back to your core, back to your values, back to your purpose, so that you can reclaim this life that you want with more, with everything, with all the vibrancy that you want, overflowing, abundant. It's possible. So when we feel this way, we have a couple of things that I thought of just purpose for my own purposes. I've thought about this for myself, and I'm thinking, you know what? I bet you anything. If I'm feeling like this, I bet you've got this too. A couple of things that gets us this overwhelm that we feel sometimes. It's because of all the things. We have so much. I had an overwhelming feeling last night. We had a webinar and we did a bunch of stuff, and I was tired. I was ready for bed. I had to have a good night's sleep beforehand because my brain was going like this. And you know what it is? I had stuff everywhere. I took 30 minutes to super clean up my desk, to put things away, to take care of things, and to get the clutter out. When you have visual peace, it's amazing how that comes into your heart and how it calms things down. It's inflammatory, if you think about it, to have clutter everywhere, because it's just like you're constantly going, ugh, it just, blah. And I have a tendency, my house is immaculate. I mean, not perfect, but my house is clean all the time. But up here in my office, things just get crazy town. And this is where I spend all my time. And yet, I don't think enough of myself to get into the weeds and say, this needs to be dealt with. That's the thing that just made my brain go, you know what? Let's deal with this right now. Let's do this right now. Let's get a routine in place for after every single day that I put everything back in order. So that when I come up to my office, it greets me instead of makes me say, oh, why the disconnect is what I want to know. Why have I had my house cleaned up for all these years and I do this with my office? I've never put a routine in place. And that's one of our keys. When we put a routine in place and we start having this be our habit, things magically start to happen because it gives us the space to process. I had no space to process. I had all the books, I had all the papers, I had all the things everywhere, and it doesn't help with the process. It's a massive distraction, and I needed to make a massive extraction. So I did. That was an aha moment last night. This is why we're talking about this today. So we get distracted for a variety of different things. And you know this, you hear this all the time. Some people will say, well, I'm ADD or I'm ADHD, and that may be true. But I will say, like I said before, I would go back to Bio-Omega-3X, man. I would be all over this. I'd be taking these, probably doubling up on the dose and taking one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Not going to kill you. It's going to help. And it really helps with brain function. That's one thing that I would do. And I'd also concentrate on an anti-inflammatory diet. We're on, day 2 of the sprint, by the way. And that makes all the difference in the world when that inflammation gets cooled off. And I mean that figuratively and literally. It gives a space so that we can start creating the things that we want. That's a big thing. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, have you noticed that sometimes we have a lack of desire or a lack of interest in something that we used to have a great desire with? And I will tell you this personally for myself. At one point in my life, I was really into scrapbooking. I had everything. I had funny scissors that cut scallops and that cut zigzag. I mean, they did everything, all the different scissors. I had a sticker kit. I had pens and this, and I probably never got to the level that probably some of you are at, but I had stuff everywhere. And I finally got to the point where I recognized that for me, and this is just a personal thing, I just really wasn't interested in it. I wasn't interested in all that time that it took. I tried, the other thing that I tried too was a sport. I tried golfing. I took golf lessons. This is about 5 years ago. And then I recognized that in order for me to play golf, that meant that first of all, I had to pay a whole heck of a lot of money to some golf club or whatever, which I wasn't quite interested in. Even, public courses, expensive. 2, it was an all-day thing. 3, I would be out in the sun all day. Have you seen me lately? Casper the Friendly Ghost and I have a lot in common. We're practically translucent. And I sunburn within 5 minutes. Ridiculous, right? So I connected the dots on this isn't for me. This is not my thing. And we need to do that. We need to go back and we need to make this assessment. Is this for you? Have you lost interest in it? Is it the right thing? Are you pursuing the right thing? And the funny thing about it is it takes forever. And for me with the scrapbooking thing, well, it was easier with the golf thing because with the golf thing, it was easy for me to say, yeah, this isn't working. One day out on the course and I was scorched, even with the sunscreen, even with all the things, and I was sweating and all that. It just didn't work. But the scrapbooking stuff, I hauled that stuff from one house to the other across country and everything. And finally, I had that awakening, like, this doesn't work for me. And what am I doing with all this? This could be blessing someone else. And so I turned around and blessed someone else and felt a great sense of relief. That's part of this extraction from distraction. We find that when we're not in alignment with something anymore, then we have no desire, no interest, there's a huge relief there, and it gives us room for the things that we really do want in our lives. So that's the other thing. And the third thing on this whole thing is we have this illusion of not enough time. Well, let me just say this. We all have enough time. We do. We have the time that we have. And we all only have 24 hours. And yes, some of us have more time than others. And that can be a blessing as well as a curse. Because what happens with all of this is that we are completely taken into this place of, well, I'll do it a little bit later. Well, just, I'll just work out whenever, or I'll do it then. And this putting off of things because we think we have the time doesn't work. And at the end of the day, we're going, that didn't work out so well, did it? That's where we need to start getting granular with it. Start getting to the place where we make a decision that we're going to time block and then we're going to take care of our time the same way that we would take care of a baby. Where we find it precious. We find that time to be important. And even in the place when we are, say, dealing with newborns and a bunch of children or an elderly parent that demands time, that it's just unexpected and things are always off balance, there is always a time where we can slice out a sliver of it for ourselves. If we're careful, if we're exacting, and if we're focused on the thing that we want to expand, which is our time. And we are focused, again, on what our destiny is going to be. We cannot accomplish things unless we carve that time out. And we have to be critical with that and take an analysis, again, on what's going on. We have a time block sheet that you can download for free at savingdinner.com/time. It's free. It's a PDF. Just print it out. keep bunches of copies and use it. It's a tool, not so that you can go through and go, at 10:15 I was drinking coffee, at 10:20 I was on the phone with a friend. But you know what I'm saying? It's to see, like, where's my time going? Sometimes we need to take an analysis of that. So that's why we all get distracted, and that's what we get, that's where we end up with. We have to also take a look at the squirrels in our lives. How many times do you have a squirrel going by and then that suddenly becomes the focus? Or the shiny object syndrome. This happens to me all the time. As a business owner, I'm like, no, we got to talk about this today and we got to talk about that. No, it should be this over there and let's do a webinar for this. I'm all over the place. But what I have found is that when I stay focused and go through and follow through on the thing that is important, the thing that has grabbed my attention in the first place, then I'm gonna do excellently with that. Not perfect, but excellently. And that's what excellence is. It's a matter of taking one step on another. It is a pathway. It is a pathway for you to get what you want. And sometimes there's going to be an obstacle in the road. That means you jump over it, you walk around it, you do whatever you have to do. You just don't quit. That's all. You just don't quit. You just keep going. As we keep going, we start to see the progress. And that progress is momentum. And that progress is reward in and of itself, isn't it? And then the last thing I would say is that we don't anchor ourselves to the right things. Do you know what that means? That means that our why, we're not anchored to our why. And let me just tell you this right now. Your why is sacred. It is sacred. It means something to you. This is a core value of yours. And it needs to be honored above all else. Otherwise, you're throwing all of this away. Instead of throwing down an anchor, you're just saying, whatever. Your why is important. If it's important to you, it's important to let others know, this is my why, this is what I'm doing, and needs to be honored. This is how you get your time back, by the way, from others who are just wanting to impinge their values on you and take over your time and take over your life. We give our lives away so much as women, don't we? We give our lives away. We are constantly in caretaker mode. A lot of us are. We caretake our children. We caretake our elderly parents. We're always doing for others. So when we finally wake up and say, hey, it's time for me to step up and reclaim my life, you need to let others know that, guess what? I'm not such an easy mark anymore. No, I can't volunteer for that. I've got this to do. Your time is so incredibly important. You cannot get it back. It's the only thing that's going to be gone before you know it. But you could redeem the time. As a matter of fact, the Bible has like 8 different verses on redeeming the time. You could redeem the time when you have this wide-eyed, thought that, whoa, I'm just letting it go. Somebody else is running my life. I'm not running my own. That just doesn't work. The second thing is you have to look at your awareness is the first step. What is capturing your attention? Be bold about that analysis. You don't have to put yourself down about it. There's no need to do that. But you know what there is? That's where I say unplug from the emotion of the whole thing. Don't get yourself all wrapped up. Oh my gosh, I'm awful. I can't, whatever. That's exhausting. And quite frankly, there's just nothing redeemable about that. What it is when we redeem and when we pull out from the emotion, it gives us an opportunity to go in there with logic and an analytical mind and say, this is what's going on. This is why I want you to use the time block sheet. If this is what's going on. Oh, that's where that time went. Whoops, I let this go. Oh my gosh, look what time I'm sleeping into. Or look what time I went to bed. When we can start doing this, we can start connecting the dots into our own lives because it's your life that these dots need to be connected in. Don't look for other people. Well, what are you doing? And how are you doing it? We're all unique. We all have our own focus in our own lives. Some of us have little children that we're trying to raise and we're homeschooling or distance learning or whatever it is. Or our spouses are home and things are changed and we're trying to figure it all out. That's just the way it is. So that's why I'm saying your analysis is uniquely yours and you need to get into that. You need to pick that up and stop comparing what you're doing with somebody else. Because let me just say this, when you start to live your own life and stop comparing yourself, not only are you going to get your joy back, but you're going to start to have some strength in what you see that needs fixing in your own life. This is your life that you're living. You're not living somebody else's. You're not living this woman's over here, this, oh, I should do that. I should be what she's doing. She's doing this thing all right. No, no. If you see somebody and you say, oh yeah, she's getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go work out, I should be doing that. And you've been up till 2 o'clock in the morning dealing with an elderly parent. See what I say? See where the logic just completely falls off the cliff? We have to go into what our own lives are. Stop comparing and start living our lives and taking care of that business. And I'm going to say, and this is like, I am like turning, when I point to you, you see how many fingers are coming back at me? Stop the multitasking. I mean, the only multitasking we should be doing is running a dishwasher and a washing machine at the same time. Then those machines are doing it. We can't do it. We're terrible at it. I mean, constantly we multitask and think, oh yeah, we're going to be really smart. We're going to do this and that and the other thing. And by the way, multitasking is different than piggybacking on a habit. Okay? There's a big difference. When you're piggybacking on a habit, you've already established the habit and it is just second nature. And you're piggybacking and adding something new. That's different. Multitasking is when you think that you can clean the kitchen, do this, and do the vacuum cleaner, and then walk away from a sink full of soapy water and just have it be spilling out all over the place. That's multitasking. We need to start thinking in terms of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. There is a logic and a sequence that we get to do things. Give yourself a time to get that all done. Maybe even step it up a little bit. That's functional fitness, by the way. Vacuuming fast, functional fitness. It's just, it's amazing what we can bring into our lives. And that kind of thing is not multitasking. That's just smart. And the other thing that we want to do is we want to use our tech. My goodness, we have this. Use it. You've got alarms on your phone. You've got reminders that you can set. You've got people that you can be accountable with your tech on here on our Facebook group, for example. We have timers, alarms, the whole 9 yards, and the time block sheet as well. But when we use our tech, we can get better. And it's a constant, the ding, ding, ding. It's a reminder, get back, get away from the squirrel and get back on task. It helps. Without the tech, I would not be getting my hydration in. Without the tech, I wouldn't be getting in the stairs. Without the tech, I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm accomplishing every single day. Tech can work to your advantage or else it can distract you tremendously. Use it for your advantage. And then the other thing is too, I would say, my goodness, girlfriend, be accountable. Let's be accountable. How have you seen, everybody that I coach, I ask them to have a body clutter buddy. Get somebody in alignment with you. They're on the same alignment assignment as you are, trying to do, something. And those women, how is it that this happened? That they are getting the results. Well, they keep each other accountable. They're staying in touch with each other. What's in front of you, funny enough, is the thing that seems to get accomplished. When we stay in it and we stay going and we have times blocked out for certain things and we are in an accountability kind of a relationship, things happen. And then I would say to you with this list, shampoo, rinse, repeat. You're not going to get it perfect, by the way. Just welcome to the human race. This is how it works. You won't get it perfect, but what you will get is a better quality life when you start to extract the distract. Because the distract is real. The distract's going to take you down. The distract's going to put you on a place where you're living somebody else's life, not your own. That you're at everybody else's whim, not your own. You are not the boss of your life when you're distracted. That distraction or that thing or those people or that clutter or whatever the heck it is the one that's running your life, not you. That's why I'm bringing you back. This is back to center. So what can we do about it? I've got 7 quick things. This is your alignment assignment. Number 1, stop the obvious distractions. Just stop it. You know exactly what to do. You are in charge of turning off your social, turning off the TV, turning off the Netflix, turning off the whatever it is that you need to do. You can turn it off, by the way, at any point. There is an off and on switch. Look for it. I know you'll find it. Number 2, start your day with gratitude. 3 things of gratitude. Let that be your focus. I am thankful for the time that I have. I'm thankful for my father that I get to take care of. I'm thankful for those children whose clothes I'm washing and folding. I'm thankful that I get to clean that toilet. That all means something. There's a deeper meaning behind all of it, and it puts us in a place of gratitude instead of whining and pessimism, and we can lift up to that place of optimism instead. Number 3, put a deadline on it, right? We have a deadline on our sprint. It's 7 days from Monday to Sunday, 7 days. Why? Because it's important for us to start something, to get into the middle of something, and get to the end of something. That's when we see the results. And then we can connect the dots. Look what just happened because I did this here, I stayed in the middle, and then I finished it. It's amazing what happens. If you put a deadline on it, you have an opportunity to have your dreams met, because goals have dreams behind them. Your vision doesn't just operate by itself. There are steps that need to happen. That's what your goals are. Number 4, check in and use your time. Use your time well. Use your time block sheet, and remember, we can always redeem the time. One of my favorite verses is, teach us to number our days, apply our hearts to wisdom. Teach us to number our days. That means be accountable for your time and apply our hearts to wisdom. This is what wise women do. They apply their hearts to this wisdom. Number 5, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Join a challenge. Join our Get Strong challenge. I dare you. Double dog dare you even. Join that. Even if you think you can't do it, even if you think it's too hard, even if you think whatever, you need a modification or whatever, email me, ask me about it. I will help you. But when you do this, when we do things that are challenging, a little bit challenging to ourselves, we develop from there. We develop our decision muscles. We become stronger. We see the possibilities of what we can accomplish in our own lives simply by doing that. Isn't that incredible? 6 is develop a sacred practice every single day. Every single day. Have that time to meditate, to do breath work, to be in your journal, to be praying. All of these things come into play and help to calm you down. Help to calm you down, help to get you to center. Your center is who you are. Your center is your soul. That's your beautiful self that I talk about. And that needs nurture. That needs a little bit of time. Then make sure that you're reading. Read to expand your brain. Start with something. We need to be less consumers of all the media that's out there and more consumers of wisdom. We can consume wisdom when we read books. An actual book. Do it on a Kindle if you want, but read a freaking book. And get away from the news sites. Get away from the social media for a minute. Get away from all of this stuff. Consume things that build your brain up. And then the last thing is, being distracted is your brain's way of telling your cortisol levels are up. And you need to deal with it. Your brain is essentially on fire if you're just like psh, all the time. And do you know how bad that is? That's a type of inflammation. And we can cool that. We can cool that perpetually elevated stress simply by acknowledging it, concentrating on breathing it down, and being in that sacred space every single day, knowing that as we do this, that we are not only connecting heart, mind, body, and soul to ourselves, but we are with our Creator. This is how He made us. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Now it's time for us to start redeeming the time. Redeeming the time. That's where the wisdom is. We need to apply our hearts to wisdom. Stop being distracted. Extract the distract. We can do it. We need to do it. No more squirrels, no more shiny objects. It's time for us to start calming ourselves and bringing ourselves right back to center. And I promise you, as we do this, as we make a concerted effort on a daily basis to do this, we're going to see things change in our lives, because it's inch by inch, ounce by ounce, little bit by little bit, but it builds momentum, because that's the law of the universe. That's gravity. That's how it works. Gravity, momentum, these are laws. They're in place. Do it. Let's be those women. That's how wise women roll. That's how these wise women that you're sitting with right now roll. I hope that was helpful for you. Sure is helpful for me. I did this whole lesson for myself because I'm all over Kingdom Come. And that's enough is enough. When you see it, you got to call it. When you call it, you got to do something about it. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, go watch the Stay Strong, Be Strong webinar, would you? We're going to do this starting on Monday. Go to savingdinner.com/strong and prepare to get some change going. It's only 10 days, but it's going to make a big difference. We've got the whole schedule for you, and you're going to love it. I can't wait to do this with you, by the way. It's going to be really fun. Day 2 of the sprint is today. It's not too late to jump on board. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint if you have not yet, and get signed up. Get signed up. Why not? Jump in where you are. That's what I say. Peace be with you. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.